welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't seen anything before on the channel, then welcome. So basically today is just a video of the Sony head unit that I've recently installed on my X5. Today I'm just going to go through some sort of like, bits about the head unit, good things, bad things, and just basically a user review over the last, I think I've had it in for about 3 or 4 months now. So just going to go ahead and tell you a few things about the head unit. So head unit is in. So this is a sort of a generic sort of video for the head unit in itself, but for the first, I don't know, I'll just tell you a few things about specific to an X5. So with an X5, depending on what model you've got, mine's a 2005 BMW X5 E53. Had an original sat nav in it with the bits and stuff, so like amp and everything is in the boot. In my case, there are a few X5s which you can have there isn't an amp, and basically all the wires you need are up front, but in this case it's all in the rear, so you have to run a 6-meter cable from the front to the back, or back to the front, however you want to put it, to install the radio. But anyway, that's about an X5. So with this, it's a Sony XAV-AX8050D is the head unit. I've had it for about 3 months in the car. It's been absolutely perfect since I've had it in. Bits that come in the box, standard bits like a few cables for the back of the stereo, USB, things like that. Additional things needed is the DAB aerial, which I've installed up there, so you can see that that's in for the radio for DAB. In my case, I've got on the radio, I haven't plugged the aerial into the back of the radio because I don't ever listen to the radio, and I've got DAB, so I would listen to that. But tuning it in is fine. You just literally press that and it will find a radio station. So that's pretty straightforward, pretty standard on most radios, to be fair. Press the home button, it goes back to the screen. You've got a few options. Obviously you've got radio, DAB, Bluetooth audio, phone, USB, and if you slide it along, rear camera and settings. So if we go back, DAB is pretty straightforward, as you can sort of imagine. I don't think I've even tuned it in, to be fair, so I don't listen to DAB all that often. But yeah, it tunes in fine. Obviously you've got extra stations on there which you don't get on FM and AM and MW, whatever it is. Bluetooth audio, so if you connect up your phone, it's pretty simple. You just connect your phone up and it will come up and you can play stuff off your phone, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, whatever you use to stream music. Phone's pretty self-explanatory. You've got your phone connected up. I haven't got mine connected at this very moment in time, but you can have 6 names there stored for speed dial. Phone book obviously is there, number pad, calls, whatever. So that's pretty easy and simple to use. It's a really relatively easy unit to use, to be fair. It's very self-explanatory and easy. USB, so I basically listen to all my music via USB. And yeah, obviously I can't play any volume because copyright, but you just flick through and it will just change things like that. You can also it sort of does it random on there, so you can like shuffle essentially, and shuffle the folders or no folders or anything like that. You can go up and down folders through that, which is really cool, really easy. And then if you do that, and you've got folders and things like that you can view. Also plays videos as well, which is really cool. So that's the USB sort of side of things. If you go along, rear camera, I've got a rear camera hooked up, but obviously it's not in reverse and the car's not on essentially, but I can, it's in. It doesn't work very well because the camera I've got is a bit poor, but it works, and it's a good feature to have on a car. It's a great feature on the head unit to have. Settings are, general head unit settings. See language, demo, date, time, beep, rear view camera. So this is one thing I've noticed. This is a plus point on this head unit. So this is one of the things I really like. So you see where it says steering wheel controls, you click that and it's on custom at the moment. So if you put custom, click that, you can, all the ones that are highlighted are basically the ones that I've got controlled via the steering wheel. Now if you look at my steering wheel, for instance, you've got volume up and down, which is pretty, you know, standard on most steering wheel controls. Just below that you've got sort of up and down arrows, which is obviously for the tracks. And on this, so you've got like it's to do with the phone voice, and I'm not sure what that is. I think that's to change between like modes of CD changer or whatever. But on this is really cool because I've basically got that as to answer a call and that to decline a call, which is obviously not what they do. But I think it's really good that you've got that as an option for customizing on the head unit, because, you know, the head units, the plug and play box for the steering wheel controls is plug and play. Yes, it is. And when I plugged it in, the volume up and down was fine. The track would only, basically just that one, you could go forward a track, but you couldn't go back. But it wasn't until I looked further into it that you can customize these, and it works perfect now. So that's really good. Other than that, it's all, you know, boring stuff on that, which is just self-explanatory stuff. And you've got sound, so you've got equalizer and stuff like that. You can adjust the bass and subwoofer settings, things like that, which is really good. Visual, you can upload your own wallpapers. I haven't done it yet. You can adjust the touchscreen if you need to, but this head unit went in fine and it's calibrated brilliantly, and it doesn't, you know, it's just works perfect. Illumination level on monitor, which is fine as it is. An automatic for illumination on the monitor as well. It's automatic. Wallpaper, you can obviously change different, you know, you can go different colors and things like that, and you can add your own. But yeah, that's again pretty self-explanatory. One thing I will notice, and it's a bit of a downside, is that you on a previous older Sony head unit that I used to have, used to display the tracks much better on this. It was an easier system. You could just scroll like that and it would be like free flowing, like a phone would be. But this sort of is not the same. You can't do that. You have to sort of click the arrows, which is a bit of a letdown, but you know, it's not the end of the world for me. But just one thing that I thought I'd point out. Other than that, options, it just, yeah, that's pretty much easy to scroll through. So radio, DAB, or you can turn it off. Shortcuts, so extra bass, equalizer. I'm not sure what that does. Let's press it. Turns the screen off. Okay. So other than that, it's, you know, it's a good all-round head unit. DAB aerials, I mean, they're not the best in the world, and DAB, it does cut out sometimes, but I guess that sort of depends where you are in the country and sort of where your signal is. I've put the microphone for the phone there because I don't know, I seem pointless running it through the A pillars and all that stuff when I don't really use it all that often. I don't really answer calls when I'm driving anyway. Installation, it was plug and play. Just be careful when you're putting it in. Just make sure all the wiring's correct and you sort of follow the guidelines in the book, the installation manual. For me, obviously, you have to wire for the screen to work. You have to wire up to the handbrake. But in this case, I haven't wired up to the handbrake, just for demo purposes, obviously, because you have to have that legally wired in for the handbrake to be on the road. But other than that, it's really good head unit. It's never crashed on me, and it's always responded. The sound quality is really good. Video quality is really good, so you can you know, if you put your own video on there, it runs really nice. And if you can mirror link your phone. What I'm going to do is I'll show you what Apple CarPlay is like in just a second. So that's now plugged into my iPhone. It runs, you know, via a USB cable, which obviously comes with the head unit. Another downside as well, actually, for the head unit is that it's only has one USB. So if you listen to your music and stuff via USB, you can't do Apple CarPlay alongside it, because you have to, obviously you've only got one USB. So if I put my USB stick into the USB in the back of the head unit, then obviously I can't put my USB cable for my iPhone in there, which is a bit of a letdown. But to be honest, I don't actually even use Apple CarPlay that much, because I just listen to my music on USB and that's that. But this is sort of an overview of the head unit itself, so obviously we'll go into everything. But yeah, you've got all your, you know, your stuff on here, simple stuff for when you're driving and things like that: phone, music, maps, messages, podcasts, other bits and things like that. It's if you've used Apple CarPlay before, then you'll know it's no different to any other CarPlay system. Also, this head unit does support Android Auto as well, just to clarify that. Other than that, yeah, it's a good head unit. It's expensive. I think you can get them now for just under £500. Another thing specific for BMWs, that obviously when you're buying a head unit, obviously take into consideration other things you'll need. So the 6-meter cables and things like that, they are an expense. But if you're putting it into most other cars, then you know, you just buy the head unit. DAB aerial is obviously an expense more, but it's like you can get them for about 20 quid, probably less than that, at sort of audio shops and things like that. Other than that, yeah, good head unit. Highly recommend it. It does stick out a little bit because it's a 8.95 inch screen, so it does stick out, but I don't find that a problem, because you know, it's not really a sacrifice. But if you want a flush head unit, then you're gonna have to sacrifice the screen size for something smaller. But in this case, this is a 8.95 inch screen, so it's a little bit bigger than the ones that are in-dash. I think the in-dash ones are about 6.87 sort of inch screens, so you get a little bit more screen size, which I prefer. I mean, let's face it, cars nowadays like Teslas and things like that come with huge screens, so bigger the screen the better. But it sort of fits nice in the dash. It doesn't look out of place. It doesn't block anything. Even the vents at the top are not blocked, so it's a nice screen. It fits. Doesn't look OEM, but I'm not after an OEM look. And I think it's a really good sort of addition to any vehicle, really, if you're going to put a head unit like this in. It also goes into a single DIN slot, so you don't need a double DIN face of a stereo to start with. So if you've got a single DIN stereo, you can put this in, as it only takes up a single DIN. Other than that, yeah, that's probably going to be the end of the video. Any questions you've got about the head unit, then obviously write in the comments below. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. It really helps. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and all that again. That'd be great. Lovely. See you soon.